Help support the channel during the adpocalypse by visiting our Amazon store for gear like the giant squid clip-on microphone. Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Matt Jarbo. This is $3 Theater, and this is my review, my what I think of the Orville Season 1, Episode 12, Mad Idolatry. Also, the Season 1 finale, which is sad. My heart is gone. I have to wait a year or like 9 months before I get to see more episodes. That sucks. Considering the fact that there was originally a 13-episode order, but Fox pulled, I guess you could say, the true season finale or whatever was going to be the 13th episode for some odd reason, and they're probably going to hold that off for season 2. They've done this kind of stuff before. Fox is terrible when it comes to these sorts of things, and Seth MacFarlane should know this. I don't know why he continues to work with them, probably because he has some overall deal, and they're going, they greenlit a second season, so I can't really complain. And other networks might, kind of neuter some of the jokes on the show. Anyway, that being said, this episode is good. It definitely deals a lot, again, with the concept, the idea of religion, and how a single misstep can alter the course of human history, or at least humanoid history, so to speak. And so at this point in time, the episode opens with Ed trying to find something to do on a weekday night. Goes and talks with Gordon. Says, hey, you want to go to the mess hall, get a drink? Gordon's like, in my jammies, all jammed up, wearing my underwear, gonna go to bed pretty soon, can't do it. Goes and talks to Lamar. Lamar's sitting there with another girl he's got in the room, and they showed some skin. She had the uniform on, but cleavage, so keep your children away. Or not, whatever. The point is, he was currently engaged with somebody else, so he goes over to Bortus's in Clyden's room and hangs out with them for a few and drinks this dark poo liquid and plays a game that basically is hot potato, but if you hold it for too long, it stabs you with a knife, and apparently that is how you win the game of Latchum. So as instead of getting it cleaned up in the med bay, he ends up just wrapping a bandage around it, hits up Kelly. Sees what she's up to, and they decide to go get a drink. Kind of old times reminiscing, and they realize they still have feelings for each other based upon what happened with Derulio in the episode Cupid's Dagger, where there's that suggestion that Kelly didn't in fact cheat on Ed willingly, that she was under Derulio's spell, so to speak. And that is something that I think as fans, we've been waiting for it to come back up. We would want them to bring up again. And they realize that they want to give it another go. So they promise themselves to go on a date later on in the week to make sure that they still got the feelings for one another. Now, the next morning, they're going into uncharted space, and they encounter a mysterious planet that just magically arrives or comes out of nowhere as Kelly, Gordon, and Isaac are on a shuttle. They crash land on the planet. Kelly goes off to explore, discovers that it is humanoid creatures that are currently living in what can only be described as the Bronze Age. She knows that the Union's, basically their prime directive is don't interfere. No, cut it out. But unfortunately, she encounters two children. One girl falls, hits her head. Kelly, wanting to protect her, probably some form of maternal instinct, and don't blame her at all, uses her little sonic screwdriver healing apparatus and heals the wound on her head. Says her name is Kelly. Other people show up. Kelly takes off, and they head back up into space. And as they do so, the planet dematerializes. Well, they discover that the planet rematerializes every 11 days. And when it comes back, the time has advanced 700 years, putting them somewhere around the 14th century from what we would know as our time. And when they go back down, they realize that, oh my God, Kelly is a deity. They idolize the goddess Kelly. And they actually end up killing people who don't agree, right? It very much it feels like the Spanish Inquisition. It's something along those lines. Hardcore religious aspects from back in that time period, where if you didn't believe in the one true God, you were murdered. And we've seen this time and time again throughout our own history and our when it comes to religion. And Seth MacFarlane is an atheist, and a lot of the stuff in the show has dealt with religion, has dealt with the concept of religion. And here it was about, what if, I would say, what if we view our version of modern day Abrahamic religion, Christianity, Judaism, Islam, and of course it stems back to a space traveler who came here accidentally. And just kind of gave out some good ideas, and people took that and ran with it. And of course, it never works out the way you want it to. It always ends up devolving into this, who's right, who's wrong, and we're going to kill each other to find out. And that's basically the idea here. And it might be a little heavy-handed and on the nose at points, but they still are trying to figure out a way to rectify the situation, even though the Admiralty of the Union has told them don't do anything, don't engage, because Ed kind of lied in order to protect Kelly, right? Because he's got the feelings for his ex-wife and his first officer, and he's going to protect her, but it ends up kind of biting him in the ass. She tells them don't go down there again, don't do anything, wait for it to end, and that doesn't happen. That doesn't happen at all. They end up waiting, or they go down there and they talk to basically the Kelly Pope. And Kelly reveals herself and showcases that she's mortal, that she bleeds, that she's humanoid like them, and that she's not a goddess. She's not a religion. When the Pope there decides that he wants to give that knowledge to the people, one of his cardinals or bishops or whatever stabs him in the back, literally stabs him in the back in order to continue having the power, which goes back to the old saying of absolute power corrupts absolutely. And throwing back to the idea then again that religion in its organized religion in its truest form is about control, which is what I feel that Seth MacFarlane was in fact alluding to. And you know what? I don't disagree with the guy. I don't. I'm sorry. I don't. I do not like organized religion. I want you to have all the faith in the world and whatever you want to believe, but on a non-organized scale, that's where I come from. But this again was a little on the nose. Okay, and I'll admit that, little on the nose. And of course, they then go back. They wait 11 more days to see what happens. The planet comes back into what can be considered maybe 21st century Earth, so to speak. They have, new 24-hour news that are arguing about the idea of Kellyism and everything else. And so they decide to leave something behind as a way to migrate them away from the mess that Kelly caused 1,400 years prior. And the only thing they can do is leave Isaac, because to Isaac, 700 years is 700 seconds. His artificial intelligence lifespan doesn't process time the same way we do. So Ed decides, okay, we've already screwed up this much. What worse can we do? So they send Isaac down and they wait 11 days. And when they return, the planet is roughly about a century behind where Earth is in this particular timeline. And they've now have space travel in their own universe. And they've got, they return Isaac to the Orville and the diplomats, or the whatever you want to call them. They say like, Isaac was there to help. It shook the world, but we got used to him. And as a result, we've become so many things, but these are things we would have gotten to on our own, meaning they didn't need a god or a deity in order to push them to that point, in order to push them to that place. And as a result of that, they're going to be fine. And in another 700 years, they might start observing humans and the Union and what goes on with that. And Kelly says it would be an honor. And then the episode ends with them at a bar, and Ed's like, "Hey, you want to go get drunk?" And she tells him that because of everything that happened, because he lied to the admiral, he fudged a report, he's playing with things that make him question his own ability to command, and it has everything to do with her. And so them being together in a relationship is not going to be the best thing for them. That them being together in a relationship is what's going to end up costing Ed his command of the Orville. And so Kelly pulls the plug on it. And Ed understands, but that, of course, is where the episode ends. So it ends not on a cliffhanger, not on a high note, but on a somber note, where Ed and Kelly, the will they, won't they, the Sam and Diane of this particular series, find themselves once again apart. Because, of course, you do realize that the show couldn't get them together in the first season. Wouldn't make any sense, right? Wouldn't make any sense at all. Couldn't get together. But later on, they will clearly find ways. They will clearly find ways to bring the two of them together, and the two of them have chemistry. And the episode, like I said, dealt with the concept, the idea of religion, to the point of where I think it shines a light in some respects about like what could have been, or at least raises some questions. How about that? Of what could have been when it comes to, what brought about our current view of religion and how it came to be. I mean, if the Earth is 65 million years old, that means there's other civilizations out there that are older and far more advanced. And who's to say one of them didn't come here and didn't accidentally Kelly up something, right? Like didn't just do something to help a small person or help somebody in need out of just pure humanoid empathy. And as a result of that, spawned where we are today. And it really makes you question just at what point in time in our history do certain events change the course. You know, history is much like a river. It's a torrent. It's always going one way or the other. It's always moving. And it's always altering the path in front of it one way or the other. But what if you could put a fork in that road? What if you inadvertently put a fork in that road? You know, what would happen? And honestly, that's a lot of what the show over the course of the first season has in fact discussed, is what would happen while tackling social issues, the idea of a pure meritocracy with an episode when they go to the planet with the upvotes and downvotes, you know, the idea of, you know, transgenderism with Clyden and Bortus and Topa and, you know, everything else. The show has tackled a lot of subjects over the course of 12 episodes. And over the course of 12 episodes, it's become one of my favorite shows. I absolutely adore the show. I adore the cast. I love what they've attempted to do. I love that they've been successful in what they attempt to do. And I love that the fans are actually out there pushing the show harder, while critics oftentimes are absolutely crapping on it for no reason whatsoever. So we have to wait until probably next September in order to get more episodes of the Orville. And I will guarantee you right now, I'll be here talking about it every single week because I cannot wait to jump back into that world. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. My name, of course, is Matt Jarbo. This has been $3 Theater. I'll talk to you guys later. Have yourself a fantastic day, and peace out.